In this video, we pedal along the historic Erie Canalway and shoreline trails from Buffalo to Niagara Falls, taking in scenic views and rich heritage. In August 2025, I embarked on an unforgettable end-to-end journey along the Erie Canalway Trail, accompanied by 5 friends. Our adventure began with a scenic Amtrak ride from Albany to Buffalo, where we set off on our bikes to traverse the entire 360-mile trail back to Albany. Along the way, we explored some incredible detours, including the awe-inspiring Niagara Falls and the historic charm of Seneca Falls. It was a journey filled with breathtaking landscapes, rich history, and lifelong memories. We started our journey in Buffalo, taking our first detour on day 1 to Niagara Falls and staying in a commercial campground. Continuing east, we camped along the canal in Middleport and then at Lock 33 in Rochester. Next, we stayed 2 nights at a commercial campground in Montezuma and took a short side trip to Seneca Falls on our day off. Well rested, we headed to Green Lake State Park in Fayetteville. Our last night of camping was at Lock 20 in Marcy. After our longest day of riding, we stayed at a hotel in Amsterdam. After the final leg to Albany, we stayed at an Airbnb. It was a short walk to Tim Hortons, where we grabbed breakfast to go and ate it across the street in the historic Lafayette Square. With a little extra time, we explored the area before checking out of our hotel. Greg accidentally left his water bottles in the car. Fortunately, Deb, who had arrived in Buffalo earlier, was able to pick up 2 new ones for him. All right, we're in the lobby. We have everybody but Dan. Hope he makes it on time because we're leaving at 8:45.
Yeah, all that next got clear in my tires. Roll out.
As a self-proclaimed national park junkie, I couldn't resist visiting the Theodore Roosevelt Inaugural National Historic Site, especially since it was just a mile from our hotel. President Theodore Roosevelt was inaugurated in Buffalo on September 14, 1901, because President William McKinley died there after being shot by an assassin. Roosevelt, then Vice President, took the oath of office in the home of Ansley Wilcox to ensure a smooth transition of power.
When Vice President Roosevelt arrives to confront it, he has the pre-existing association with our Mr. Wilcox. That's why he was offered the use of this home.
The visitor center opened at 9 a.m. and we had reservations for the 9:30 a.m. house tour. If you don't have reservations, you can still visit the Pan Am Expo room, which was very informative and fun. The big kids really enjoyed the interactive exhibits. Vice President Roosevelt ate several meals here in the Wilcox dining room.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Theodore Roosevelt.
I, Theodore Roosevelt,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly
It was here in the library that Roosevelt was sworn in as the 26th President of the United States on September 14, 1901. Roosevelt insisted on a small private ceremony out of respect for the late President McKinley.
The desk in the corner is original.
Wilcox, a fellow Republican, had been a friend and a supporter of Roosevelt since his days as governor of New York. Their long-lasting relationship made his home a fitting place for the unexpected inauguration. President Murphy. After spending about an hour and a half touring the Teddy Roosevelt Inaugural site, we headed south to the Buffalo Naval Park and the start of the Erie Canalway Trail. The USS Boston, built in 1980 by electric boat, where many of our group have worked, served the Cold War before being decommissioned in 1999. Today, only her sail remains, preserved as a tribute to her service and legacy. The Buffalo and Erie County Naval and Military Park is the largest inland naval park in the United States. It's home to the USS Sullivans, USS Little Rock, USS Croker, a destroyer, cruiser, and submarine, respectively. The USS Croker is a World War II submarine built by Electric Boat in 1943. She conducted 6 tours in the Pacific and sank 11 Japanese vessels. Having explored the naval park, we headed to the beginning of the Erie Canalway Trail. The Buffalo History Museum has indoor and outdoor exhibits here. It offers a pay-what-you-wish admission with a recommendation of $12 per person.
The regular route goes this way too.
Ironically, detours at the beginning of the trail had us heading back the way we came.
That was an interesting detour. Glad we're back on the trail now.
Better be the last hill, Mike.
Back on the trail, we were treated to excellent views of the Niagara River and the Peace Bridge. We made a quick stop at Campus Wheelworks, a bike shop literally on the trail. Tom picked up an extra bottle cage and Deb grabbed a t-shirt. A good portion of the trail in Buffalo is in an urban environment, and the trail follows city streets and a separated bike lane. It is important to keep your eyes open for the Erie Canalway signs to stay on the trail.
I don't think it's it.
We entered Tonawanda Park in the town of Tonawanda. The name Tonawanda derives from an Iroquoian and Tuscaroran language term commonly thought to mean swift water or confluent stream.
So we finally got out of the city a little bit. We found along the, I think it's the Niagara River. Some nice parks here.
Must be near Canada.
Fun fact, some folks call them Canadian geese, but the proper name is Canada geese. The bird species is named after the researcher John Canada, who first separated the species from the other geese. Hungry, we stopped along the trail for lunch around 1:30 p.m. The food was good, and the outdoor seating allowed us to watch our bikes while eating.
We got about 20 miles in on our trip. We're just wrapping up lunch here at Mississippi Muds.
We crossed the Renaissance Bridge and left the Erie Canal behind for a side trip to Niagara Falls. No stops here today, as we plan to spend time in Nort Tonawanda tomorrow on our way back to the Erie Canalway. Between Nort Tonawanda and Niagara Falls, the route follows the Shoreline Trail, which runs alongside the busy New York highways paralleling the Niagara River. The steady hum of traffic is a constant backdrop until you pass under Interstate 190 and draw closer to the heart of Niagara Falls.
Alright, here in the shade we're down to 87 degrees, but there have been times when that thermometer was reading 99, even 100 I saw once. So it's been a hot day, but we're in the shade and we got a nice breeze right here grabbing some water. There it is, we're just about arriving at Niagara Falls.
The violent turn and undulation of the water as it surged through the American Rapids is a breathtaking display of raw, unstoppable power.
It's 3:30 and we're about 30 plus miles into our ride, and we are just now coming to Niagara Falls, and this is the rapids just before the American Falls. Pretty excited to go over the bridge and check out the big deal.
The Goat Island Bridge, also known as the American Rapids Bridge, connects the mainland of Niagara Falls, New York, to Goat Island, which sits in between the American Falls and Horseshoe Falls. The American Falls is one of three main waterfalls that form Niagara Falls. It spans about 850 feet and drops roughly 90 to 120 feet. Bridal Veil Falls is the smallest of the three waterfalls and is 56 feet wide at the crest and has a vertical drop of about 78 feet. Horseshoe Falls is the largest of the three waterfalls. It straddles the international border between the U.S. and Canada. Most of the Horseshoe Falls is on the Canadian side, but a portion of its crest and associated viewpoints are accessible from New York. It's about 2,200 feet wide and between 167 and 188 feet tall.
Well, we're at Niagara Falls, and obviously this is the day one highlight of our trip.
Before leaving Goat Island, we needed water, and on this hot day, everyone else had the same idea. Next, we headed for Prospect Point for one final view of the falls. The old stone chimney was built in 1750 as part of a barracks and dining hall for the little Fort Niagara, which protected the upper end of the Niagara Falls portage. Deb was breaking in a new pair of cycling shoes when one of her cleat bolts came loose and fell off. Luckily, thanks to Tom's experience, we were able to improvise by removing one of the 5 disc brake bolts from Greg's bike to replace it. We stopped to check out the former site of Fort Schlosser. Although nothing of the fort remains, 2 interpretive signs provide historical context. Without further ado, we left the trail and headed to the Niagara Falls campground, where we would set up camp, eat dinner, and run to a nearby laundromat. Be sure to join us for the next episode where we explore the historic Tonawandas and visit a famous 5 locks and the Erie Canal Discovery Center in Lockport.